The fact that Vanguard owns 20 million shares in MSTR is, in my opinion, the most crucial information. Yesterday, that was news. Vanguard displays a lot of things as well. The opinions of Vanguard's managers and CEO regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are irrelevant. Their money is being invested in this without their consent, whether they like it or not. Despite the fact that their CEO and numerous other high-ranking executives have already stated that they oppose cryptocurrencies, Vanguard is currently making significant efforts in this field. They are the world's second biggest asset manager. Due to the current state of the market, they must become involved with cryptocurrencies. This implies that a significant amount of capital can be invested in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, XRP, and others. Nevertheless, I believe that this massive infusion of funds will contribute to price increases everywhere. I have something else to tell you. On the surface, it appeared that the top asset managers of the late 1990s were opposed to internet startups. Nevertheless, they were covertly purchasing shares in significant online companies, and the astute ones acted appropriately, making decisions that ultimately resulted in significant financial gain. Regarding XRP, Takar, and a few other cryptocurrencies, I believe we're still in a fairly same position. The public sector has yet to completely comprehend the many benefits that these currencies offer to both the commercial and public sectors. I must now state that I believe this to be a critical moment. Make sure to click like on the movie for today so that everyone can watch it. Let's listen to Michael Saylor's thoughts on this. Take a look at former events. Alright, it currently only grows 80% annually compared to 120% previously. It was between 80% and 90% when I came in. The last 5 years have seen it hover between 55% and 60%. Since it entered the stock market, its pace has slowed. Regarding XRP, we have another report for you. That isn't always the case. Everyone on the planet is aware that I expect a $1 million business can expand more quickly than a $100 billion business, which in turn can expand more quickly than a $10 billion business, then a $1 trillion company, which has the potential to grow more quickly than another $1 trillion company, which in turn can grow more quickly than a $100 trillion company, which can grow more quickly than a $100 trillion company. Indeed, it's not difficult. It's just the rule of large numbers in math. Before Bitcoin became the big thing, the 20% target seemed to be the ideal method to get a lot of the best, rarest currency in the world. The primary function of buybacks is to preserve stock capital. You are already aware of that degree. For the previous 5 years, it has been roughly 10% annually. What do you get from the S&P? 10 to 12%. The amount that exists will be determined by the amount of wealth and money. Bitcoin will outperform the S&P 1000, in my opinion. The risk of interacting with others that comes with business procedures is absent. Additionally, there is no currency risk. This implies that the S&P must manage numerous business risks, such as supply chains, tariffs, and other issues. There are 3 types of risks: legal, political, and actual. In addition to warehouses, backups, and a company in Ukraine, I also own natural gas installations in Iran. In the real world, the S&P is fraught with hazards. There are 3 types of risks: the management, the political, and the physical. Every business would be able to receive funds in the form of dollars, pesos, naira, euros, rubles, Chinese yuan, and other currencies if I eliminated these hazards. Bitcoin is merely money once all those risks are eliminated. Bitcoin, however, is going to be more than that. How much more? As an example, what is the price of that? 6 to 8% annually. Therefore, you should aim to get Bitcoin to 18 or 20 if you want the S&P to be 12. Which age group is it going to be? It eliminated the regulation. Just as in Iran, you cannot purchase 50x Apple stock on a Sunday morning. Yes, it isn't possible. You can't, even if we discuss the reasons why. Therefore, you are unable to give or receive stock on Sunday morning 20. All of these factors make it more difficult to steal money or use it for beneficial purposes. Cash is something I could need anywhere in the world. I could do that every day of the week, anytime I chose. The threats are more numerous and come in various forms. There are issues with persons as well. What is included in it is decided by the S&P board. They might not add or remove the appropriate stuff. Isn't that possible? Because it is based on natural rules and is always the most beneficial for everyone. Bitcoin is the best type of capital asset. Choose if you're looking for a pure objective money index. It should perform twice as good as the next best thing, and I have no reason to disagree. I believe it should be around 50% better. I'll use the exact words of Michael Saylor to illustrate my point. Michael Saylor might have utilized the money he was receiving to purchase XRP rather than Bitcoin. The value of the micro method has increased fourfold since then. Michael Saylor did, however, discuss power laws and how a number becomes more difficult to increase from zero to infinity. You mean the stock market? Surely a $1 trillion corporation will grow faster than a $100 trillion one. The most well-known altcoin at the time is Bitcoin. Furthermore, the value of XRP is a tenth of that of Bitcoin. Indeed, according to his own power rules, if Michael Saylor had purchased XRP rather than Bitcoin, his company would have been valued hundreds of billions of dollars if not more. It has billions of dollars already. This indicates that there is a lot greater likelihood that the price of XRP will increase. In addition, XRP is a far superior technology than Bitcoin in every way, everything. Let's begin by examining the motivation for the creation of cryptocurrencies. After that, we can determine which ones are probably the greatest. The purpose of cryptocurrencies was to provide an alternative to the current restrictive money systems. Do not misunderstand, Bitcoin was an excellent initial cryptocurrency. However, building autonomous systems on top of Bitcoin and programming it are extremely challenging due to Layer 2. Bitcoin is so sluggish that you can't actually construct anything on top of it. The fact that everything operates on the base layer database is perfectly okay. XRP, Ethereum, or Solana. These cryptocurrencies perform as intended, which makes them superior. How does XRP compare to Bitcoin? For Bitcoin, XRP is comparable to Google Chrome. That's my perspective. Yahoo has no users, and those who do are most likely over. If you utilize this film, please do not harm viewers. It is not comparable to browsers such as Chrome and XRP, with XRP being worse. It's superior in every aspect. That being said, indeed, Michael Saylor raises some additional crucial arguments that support XRP more strongly than Bitcoin. Let's hear what he has to say first. We'll conclude with a crucial lesson. John Bogle and the Vanguard 500 were founded on the notion that the market, not individuals, is capable of making wise choices. The market is usually more intelligent than any one person's opinion. In any case, passive investing typically outperforms aggressive investing. Additionally, Vanguard has large sums of money that aren't being utilized. You now understand the purpose of a Bitcoin bank. Give people ownership of Bitcoin without requiring them to make any purchases to encourage more people to utilize it. We demonstrated that stock purchasers have 30 in our most recent discussion. That implies that 50 times as much money can be spent in that manner. Bitcoin treasury firms are creating their own ramp for those who wish to borrow money because we displayed 65 trillion. It is possible to purchase credit instruments rather than goods with even greater credit, nearly 100 times as much, or 90 to 95 times as much. Some investors simply leave their money in S&P and Vanguard index funds. They don't have any option. Dormant capital that is trapped in the S&P makes up all of that money.